At Tuesday's Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing, Senator Ted Cruz grilled State Department official George Kent about alleged corruption by President Biden and his son Hunter. Questioning Kent over his past concerns about Hunter Biden serving on the board of Ukrainian energy firm Burisma, Cruz pressed him on whether or not there were ethical violations by the Bidens. Cruz has long been a fierce critic of the president's son, charging that his actions while his father was vice president included corruption and influence peddling. Democrats and the president himself have defended Hunter Biden, claiming GOP accusations are politically motivated. Republicans have promised to make Hunter Biden's business dealings and whether his father profited from them central to their investigations in the next Congress.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome to each of the witnesses. Mr. Kent, you have been outspoken throughout your career speaking against corruption. And I want to talk about corruption. I want to talk in particular about corruption in the current administration. And I have serious concerns about corruption of President Joe Biden that extends for considerable time, both his time as president and his time as vice president. To take one obvious and troubling example, accounts linked to the Biden family's personal finances received millions of dollars through ties to CEFC China Energy. This is where we get the infamous quote about 10% to the big guy from the Chinese communists. But you've also been involved very directly with Ukraine and corruption in Ukraine, and I will say you showed real courage speaking out against what I think was the very obvious concerns of corruption of Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden in Ukraine in particular. On November 13th, 2019, you testified to Congress that you had become concerned with Hunter Biden's status as a board member of the Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma. You said you had raised those concerns to the White House in February of 2015, and in particular, what you said is, I became aware that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma. Soon after that, in a briefing call with the National Security Staff of the Office of the Vice President in February of 2015, I raised my concern that Hunter Biden's status as a board member could create a perception of a conflict of interest. Tell me, why did you have this concern about, as you described, a perception of a conflict of interest?
Well, Senator, I can give you and every member of this committee my commitment that I will always raise concerns to members of any administration and to Congress when I have concerns. And so I was made aware of information, and I passed that along to the staff of the Office of the Vice President. And
so why were you concerned? Why were you concerned about Hunter Biden being on the board of Burisma?
The issue at hand was the owner of the company, Zlochevsky, had awarded himself gas contracts. And as I testified both in the impeachment hearings and in the Johnson-Grassley hearings of 2020, our concern was about the corrupt acts of Zlochevsky, the ex-minister, and the FBI had been pursuing freezing his assets. And it was in the interest of the United States to remain at the gold standard of our own actions.
So the Ukrainian oligarch who owned Burisma, there was very substantial evidence of corruption on his part, and he named Hunter Biden to his board of directors. To your knowledge, does Hunter Biden speak Ukrainian?
I've never talked to Hunter Biden, no.
To your knowledge, did he have any knowledge before serving on that board about anything concerning oil or natural gas?
I'm not aware of his CV.
To your knowledge, did Hunter Biden have any qualification whatsoever for that board job other than the fact that his daddy was the sitting vice president at the time?
Senator, no one consulted me about who was on the board of Burisma. There was another American, Cofer Black, who was a former...
Okay, I asked a question.